What is going on, everyone? You're all very welcome back to the Gaelic Gridiron podcast, coming to you after a hectic week 5 of the NFL. Jimmy English, joined as usual by Stephen Kearns and Conor Tate. Delighted to be here. Thank you for tuning in wherever you are watching or listening. Thank you as well to our sponsors, Print My Pint. Make sure you check them out on printmypint.ie for your next birthday, party, or event for something kind of cool and different. Lads, it is good to see both your faces. We had to hold the fort down last weekend, myself and Conor. I think we did an okay job, considering one of us was dying of Croke Park flu, as we have now termed it. Twist is down with it this week. Shout out to anyone who is still feeling the effects after the Dublin game. I've just about recovered. Over a week now, lads, since we had that magnificent afternoon in Croke Park. And hopefully we will get to do it again very, very soon. But the NFL international games moved on to London. The first of 3 London games taking place this weekend between the weekend just gone between the Browns and the Vikings. And Conor, you're a Vikings fan. I mean, they really got lucky, didn't they? They left it until the last minute to come away with a 1-1 record in back-to-back international games. Take us through your thoughts on the game.
Yeah, that would have been a very long flight home to Minneapolis had they not have pulled that last drive out of the bag. It was a poor performance by Minnesota. It was, in my opinion, 2 teams that will not go any further than the wildcard round in the playoffs this year going at it. And it was a huge win. It was a huge last moment win for the Vikings. And Dylan Gabriel continues the illustrious streak of being a first-time Browns quarterback and losing his opening game. That is now 0-17 since the Browns rejoined the NFL in 1999. So thank goodness he didn't break that streak against us. But it was a poor game of football. With that being said, Kevin O'Connell coach team finds a way to win it near the end. We've seen this story before, and a great drive from Carson Wentz, who was very banged up in that game, to go down and put it 85 yards down the field. So kudos to Carson. He's a beast.
He really knuckled up, didn't he? I mean, we saw him going off the field just before halftime, going into the blue tent and walking off down the tunnel, coming back to the relief of Vikings fans and driving them down the field and sealing the win on like a beautiful pass to Jordan Allison. Yeah. With time winding down to snatch victory from the jaws of defeat. Dylan Gabriel, actually, interestingly, was making here's a fun little fact for you. He was the first NFL quarterback to make his debut in an international game. And I still think he did, for a rookie quarterback, he was kind of thrust into the starting job. He did an okay, he had an okay game, Twist, I think.
Yeah, he definitely went out there and he played as well as a Browns quarterback can play. Slightly better than most recent Browns quarterbacks, I'd say. He's definitely not going to have Joe Flacco or Shedeur Sanders taking his job anytime soon. He played decent football. He played conservative football, but he put the Vikings on their heels for the game. I will say, with the help of the defense, obviously, but I will say Carson Wentz has to make smarter choices. You can't lower your shoulder and take those hits when you're the second string quarterback. When your starter's out, you're the backup. Yeah, be the tough guy, yeah, but you can't risk going out of the game and putting another rookie who spent 6 years in college in London, to face off against a strong Browns defense. So, he has to get smarter from that, overall to help the Vikings. And I don't know what Jordan Addison did because I'm not up on Vikings. Conor might fill me in. But keeping him off the field when you're in a game where you've come off a loss in Dublin, you need to beat a team that you should beat, like the Browns, and keeping them off the field for the first quarter, him coming in cold. Yes, he wins the game, but the game might have been a lot more blown open if he had been there as well, taking pressure off Jets.
Who still had a hell of a game and some ridiculous receiving, but reception yards was held scoreless in 2 international games now. So kudos to both defenses for keeping Justin Jefferson out of the end zone. Conor, myself and yourself were talking about Jordan Allison's transgression before we came on air there. So I know the story, but go on, fill Twist in, and for those who might be listening that aren't as up on the Vikings, as they say.
Yeah, Jordan Addison needs to clean up his act. He was he didn't attend a walkthrough in London, which for no apparent reason other than the fact that he didn't want to attend the walkthrough.
He was sightseeing. His first time abroad. He was going
Basically.
around. He was on London's Eye and getting a few pints probably.
Basically, but if you follow all the social medias of the players, they had Tuesday evening to do that. Adam Thielen was at Stamford Bridge watching Chelsea in the Champions League. So they have their time to go and do that. And when a walkthrough is there with the Minnesota Vikings and you're a Minnesota Vikings player, you go to the walkthrough.
Yeah.
So that is why. And then there was some choice words exchanged between him and Kevin O'Connell that weren't discussed or revealed, but there was an exchange, and Kevin O'Connell's response was to then bench Jordan Addison for the first quarter. Justified decision? Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Does it hurt your team? Yes, but you cannot stand there and take that as a coach. And a financial hit to him is just a slap on the wrist. They're making minutes.
Yeah.
So I absolutely agree with Kevin O'Connell, and look, it seemed to fuel him. It was one great play. Justin Jefferson needs to get the kudos yesterday, to be honest. Justin Jefferson lived up to it. And I know he's been kept out of the end zone, but historically, Justin Jefferson gets not as many touchdowns as you would maybe assume given his name. His touchdown numbers aren't insane throughout his 6 years.
It's not about the numbers, it's about the effect he has on defenses, because he went over 120 receiving yards in both international games, back-to-back weekends.
Unbelievable. Between the 20s is unbelievable through 6 years. I mean, if he keeps up the pace, he will be first. He's about 500 yards away from going first of all time in the NFL through 6 years, and that's with the blown hamstring last season. So it's remarkable what he's doing, and the big third down catches when you're trailing by 3 in a gotta have it moment, and Justin Jefferson comes down again and again and again. These as a quarterback, sometimes you have to put the ball in risky situations, but it's a lot less risky when it's Justin Jefferson on the end of it.
One of the most reliable receivers in the league.
Contested catch, give me Justin Jefferson out of anybody in the NFL. Just in those big moments, it was. And he brought the right cleats this time. He wasn't slipping and sliding on Sunday. So just kudos to him, man. He cemented his name as the best receiver in the NFL yet again on Sunday.
No, undoubtedly. Well, first of 3 London games, obviously yesterday in Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Coming up next weekend, we have the Broncos and Jets, followed the following weekend by the Jaguars and Lions. We're going to talk about the Broncos and Jets in a few minutes, but Twist, I want to kind of touch on the AFC North for a minute, because the Steelers somehow are the best AFC team in the AFC North team, despite not having played this weekend. And next weekend, they welcome the Browns to Acrisure Stadium, coming off a loss, rookie quarterback, defense coming off a stellar performance in Dublin against the Vikings. You have to like the Steelers' chances of keeping things rolling here and cementing that spot at top of the AFC North.
Nope, it's a trap game.
It's a trap game.
We are absolutely losing this game.
Why is it a trap game for Pittsburgh, but it wasn't for Minnesota?
It happens every year. The Browns roll into Acrisure. Well, not every year, but Browns roll into Acrisure after we've had a big win, and we struggle. And sometimes we squeak by, sometimes we fall. It's an absolute trap game. I have no faith we're beating the Browns this week.
We do have a tendency to play down to bad teams, I will agree with you, but we didn't play down to a bad team in New England a few weeks ago, so I don't know.
Don't shit talk New England.
Yeah, they did beat the Bills on Sunday Night Football.
Yeah. But I'm doubting the Steelers' ability to beat the Browns. Now, go out there and shock me. The offense looked good in Dublin. It looked good against New England. It looked good in the season opener. The defense is getting better, but I
would argue it's the other way around. The defense has been far outplaying the offense, and it's the only offense that are just about waking up now and actually just really woke up in Dublin.
What games are you watching? Our defense was terrible for the first 3 weeks. Just look at social media. They were insulting the highest paid defense who couldn't stop anybody from running the ball all over us. But our defense is now finally waking up. So I think if we take the momentum from Dublin, we have a chance to win, but I'm still going with a trap game. We are still on top of the AFC North after being on a bye week, thanks to the Vikings, the Texans, and the Lions. When you're the Texans, you beat up the Ravens, who had $151 million worth of salary cap on injury. So over half their salary cap was on injury for the game against the Texans. So Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, you beat up on the Ravens, but like, it wasn't really the
It wasn't the
Ravens.
Ravens.
You could say the same with the Lions beating up on the Bengals. It wasn't the Bengals, and then the Vikings beat up the Browns because it's the Browns. It doesn't matter who it is; it's the Browns. But it's good to be on top. None of us were expecting to be this way. After week 5, there was a lot of doubt online, but it's good to see us on top. So, trap game on Sunday, guaranteed. Calling it here, but the Ravens are in trouble.
Big trouble, and the fact that was the Conor, the first time that the Texans had won in Baltimore in their existence, 44-10 over the Ravens on Sunday afternoon. As Twist says, the Ravens are in big trouble. I mean, they couldn't get Derrick Henry going. The Texans had a game plan for him, stuff him at the line of scrimmage, take away that threat, and then they just kind of stymied everything that the Ravens were trying downfield. I mean, what can Baltimore do except limp along until Lamar Jackson comes back?
Limp along. The issue with having such a mercurial quarterback like Lamar Jackson is that if you lose him, there's no ample replacement that can go in. So their whole offense and their whole ideology is predicated on Lamar Jackson's unique ability to move and the read option. So it's a big issue. They let go of Tyler Huntley last year. I thought Tyler Huntley was actually a pretty good replacement for Lamar Jackson, and Lamar has struggled to play 17 games in a season throughout his career. So I thought it was a little bit weird to let Tyler Huntley go. And as good as Cooper Rush is as a backup, he is not the guy for that Baltimore system. Yeah. So how do you get Lamar Jackson? How do you get back on track for Baltimore and get Lamar Jackson back? I don't know what sort of stuff you need to pump into him, but you need to heal up that hamstring quick, and he needs to get back in the field. Otherwise, this is probably a lost year for Baltimore. We saw last year with Cincinnati. They got off to a slow start, not due to injury, just due to poor results, and they kept winning down the stretch, and it still wasn't enough. 1-4 now for Baltimore. It's like, okay, if you lose 1 or 2 more, you can only get to 10, 11 wins. Yeah, and that's if you put a string together. So it's, Lamar has to be back in the field for Baltimore soon. I don't know what his status is, but that's the only way I can see Baltimore turning this thing around.
Yeah, Snoop Huntley was like, the way I would describe him was like Lamar Light. He was perfect for the system. He had some similar talents to Lamar, so they didn't have to change up the play call, the playbook, or anything like that. Cooper Rush doesn't have those talents. And just before we move on from the Ravens and Texans, when the Texans come in to Baltimore and put up 40-plus points, and their rookie wide receiver, what's his name, number 14, Jalen Noel, scores a touchdown and does the Ray Lewis dance in the end zone.
I did see that, and they were having none of it.
And then the Ravens tried to steal the ball for his first touchdown from give it to him, and he couldn't break it off his grasp. You were done. Just pack up, leave the stadium. You're already home. Just leave. You're done. The disrespect.
Yeah, the AFC North is, I think, it's just weird right now when you have the Steelers who are still very much kind of warming up into the season as the best team. Bengals obviously in trouble as well. I mean, the Lions came in and just had their way with the Bengals in Paycor Stadium yesterday. When Cam Akers is throwing touchdown passes, and apparently he was a former high school quarterback, and when they're running trick plays like that, and I know the Lions love, they are fans of running trick plays, but when that's happening and you're letting that happen in your home stadium, things are pretty bad. And Jake Browning had an absolute stinker, 3 interceptions.
You're Cincinnati. How long does it take till you're on the phone? You got James Winston? Maybe Jamar Chase led the Bengals in tackles at halftime. He had 3 tackles, all on interceptions. And I am the biggest advocate for giving backup quarterbacks who wouldn't normally be given a chance an extended amount of time and not just a couple of quarters to try and prove themselves. But that's 3 bad games now from Jake Browning. James Winston, man, that's who I'm calling for. I'm going, hey, New York, give me a guy who's slinging. I'll take the 3 picks, but I'll take 30 points in the game as well, and I like my chances. He's going to give Jamar Chase a go.
Look at James Winston last year against the Steelers, leading the Browns. He'd never played in snow before.
There's a trap game.
And the trap game, he just went out gunslinging, and he just dominated that game. Yes,
I'm making that goal.
Is highly mistake prone, but he can go out there and he can like sling a ball and he'll
But
fight.
it can't get worse.
Exactly, it's not going to.
That
He's
game was
better.
done.
He's better than Browning. So,
Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting to see how that kind of develops there. I mean, that's a wild stat that you just threw there, Connor. The fact that Jamar Chase had more tackles in the defense at halftime yesterday in that game.
Yeah, more tackles than any individual. There was I think it was right before halftime. He had more tackles than any individual on the Bengals defense. That is like.
That's when you know your game is lost.
That's the sort of stat that gets guys tweeting out like cryptic stuff.
Yeah.
That's when like just one emoji.
Remove all reference to the team off their Instagram and stuff.
Yeah.
But I was watching the game on Game Pass. I mean, the Bengals, Chase Brown and the Bengals, they made Jake Browning and the Bengals. They made it easy for the Lions. We just giving them short field, throwing interceptions from your end zone, giving Jared Goff just chances just to lob balls into the end zone for fun. I mean, the Lions didn't really have to try yesterday. They were just going to give him points on a plate.
Yeah, but it's still the Lions.
It's what?
It's still the Lions. I'm still sticking with the Lions. They're a fake 4-1 team.
No, when you weren't on last week, we quashed this debate. You cannot keep they cannot keep winning. You cannot keep living off week one and say the Lions aren't good this year. The Lions have put up more than 35 points in every game since.
Bet the Chiefs.
Listen, the Chiefs are collapsing. They beat the Bengals.
The Chiefs are not collapsing. Did you not watch the game last week? The Chiefs are back.
They're not back. One game doesn't mean they're back.
We're going to talk about Chiefs Jaguars later on in the AFC South because that's going to be a very good game of Monday Night Football tonight.
I get the AFC Championship games for them not to be collapsed.
I don't know. I'm backing the Lions over the Packers in the NFC North big time this year.
We'll see.
Sorry, Connor. The Vikings aren't going to do much in the NFC North this year.
No, I said watching the game on Sunday, it felt like two teams that just weren't very good going at it.
Yeah.
And the crazy thing was the Vikings had more time to adjust. They've been on this time zone for God knows how long now. When the Browns only landed in on Wednesday or Tuesday.
Yeah, I mean,
you can't blame you can't blame the time difference or the lack of adjustment for that lethargic performance.
They also had a guy at center that's never played center in his life.
Yeah, that will do it.
And 3 of the 5 offensive line are not starters. It's a complete mess. You talk about Baltimore being plagued by injuries. Minnesota are as well. So, hats off to Justin Jefferson who carried that offensive performance. Again, the defense who played very well. And Kevin O'Connell for just giving his team a chance near the end and keeping them in it again and again and again. I mean, they had to battle a lot of adversity. They had a kick. I don't know if you knew this. The kick in the fourth quarter that Will Reichard missed. By the way, Will Reichard doesn't miss.
51 yards.
It hit the cable, the TV spider cam cable, and deflected round. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Is that the most Minnesota thing you've ever heard?
Yeah.
That's just bad luck. That is just pure bad luck.
They actually, ironically, they have a rule for this. I didn't even think there'd be a rule for this in the NFL, but they do. If it hits a piece of camera equipment, it's an immediate retake unless the ball goes through the post, in which case it doesn't matter, it stands. So technically speaking, you could aim for the camera equipment to the left or the right of the post and try and doink it off it and through, and it would count. I mean, how unbelievable!
Did they kick it? Did they kick it again?
No, they didn't retake it again. It wasn't seen.
Yeah,
nobody managed to see it in the NFL apart from the thousands of fans online.
That's
Twitter.
Mental. That's crazy.
Yeah, exactly, it's mental, and that would have tied it up at 17-all. Would have changed the landscape of the game. So thank goodness Minnesota came away with the win after that, and thank goodness that I'm not a betting man. Thank goodness they covered the spread because they were plus 3.5 for that game, and they won by 4 points in the end. So to anyone who took Minnesota yesterday, congratulations, you didn't get done by the camera equipment.
Talking about, I suppose, upset results and surprising results, the Broncos with a statement win in Philadelphia in Lincoln Financial Field yesterday, knocking off the Eagles, and they look good doing it. I mean, Bo Nix is playing really, really well. He's kind of come into his own. I personally think they could be one of the best teams in the AFC West after the performance. Twist, I don't know what you think.
They looked good. Like, they got to go international next, so we'll see how they perform over that. But, I mean, going in and taking down the perennial the defending champs, the perennial repeat champs, like people are already pulling them up there, is a statement. Like, yeah, like, you can say it's all down to Jalen Hurts not showing up, but like, yeah, you can say that. But the Broncos had to show up themselves in order to be in the position to win. And I don't know what's gone wrong with Jalen Hurts. Like, they keep trying to put the game on his shoulders, and he's not performing the way you'd expect a quarterback to perform. And the Hail Mary at the end of the game, like
the toss up.
AJ Brown turned into Darrelle Revis and knocked the ball out of his own player's hands, like guaranteed touchdown, and he just bump. And I was like, come on, man, don't stand on top behind each other like that. Like, or if you do, like, don't swing your hands around wildly, because that was a touchdown.
It was AJ Brown got caught up with Devontae Smith, I think, wasn't it, in the end zone?
Yeah.
Two best receivers. I mean, running to the same spot. That's just with I don't know how many Broncos defenders hanging off him. It was just.
But if you watch the slow mo, Devontae Smith has that in his hands, and AJ Brown, bang, from behind, knocks it out of his grasp. That was a
worthy of a tweet. That's worthy of a tweet.
Yeah.
So Broncos looking good in Philadelphia. They do go on the road, Conor, to London this coming Sunday to take on the Jets. The Jets, obviously, just doing what the Jets do yesterday, losing to the Cowboys, who are looking good. More injuries for the Jets this weekend as well. Braylon Allen out for several weeks. They're starting running back, so they're going to be down a key piece. Hopefully we'll get a bit of a better game in London, but you have to think that it's going to be the Broncos' day all day this coming Sunday.
Yeah, listen, I don't think the Jets are a bad football team, but they've had a lot of bad luck this year, and we're talking about Baltimore being in big trouble at 1-4. The Jets are 0-5. They're the only winless team in the league. They're the only team, in fact, with a 0 in their record, full stop, because there's nobody unbeaten anymore. So I like Denver. I think Denver are playing good football. Just to put into perspective how big that win was, Denver have trailed by 14 or more points on the road over 120 times in their history. They came back once to win a game. So that is, and not just that, they've done it at Philly. So that's an unbelievable statistic for Denver to come back and win that game. And I think you're getting to see the fruits of Sean Payton having a full off season with his quarterback to really work. And yeah, I like Denver, and Denver are always a good defensive team. So I think it will be Denver's day in London next week, and hopefully we get a good game. Hopefully the Jets can put up a decent fight. Because arguably it wasn't a very good game this week in London, but at the same time it was, because it came down to the wire, or the camera wire.
That is true, camera wire.
Speaking of cameras, the Jets' highlight last week was hitting the sky camera with the deflected pass.
Yes. So I mean, hopefully it'll be a good spectacle for everyone that goes to London. I know you'll be there, Jimmy, but yeah, I'll take the Broncos to win that one.
Yeah, we will indeed. I will indeed be in London next weekend covering that one from Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, over and back on the one day, which is always fun. But look,
can we talk about our two favorite segments now? Let's go to the Baker Love Corner.
The Baker Corner, and then we're going to talk about Danny Dimes. And we have to talk about the Buccaneers, because they just keep giving. If you're a Buccaneers fan, shout out to you for continuing with your support. I mean, your nerves must be absolutely shot at this stage. Another last second win for the Buccaneers against the Seahawks. I think that's 4 out of 5 now. I was reading online that they've done that. Just trying to pull up my notes here, but I mean, they keep pulling off these nerve-wracking wins. I don't know, Connor, if you watched the end of that game. I mean, it was just incredible to watch, really.
Yeah, I text my buddy who's a huge Seahawks fan about 2 minutes 30 in the game, and I just texted him Seattle ! And they were up by 7 at the time, and he just said to me, "Oh, you're obviously ahead of me on the stream." I said, No, we're at the same point. And he went, "Oh, okay, you obviously don't watch Seattle enough then. Why are you texting me at 2 minutes 30 to go?" And lo and behold, he was absolutely right. Sam Darnold played an amazing game. Got rather unfortunate with that interception at the end, but the Buccaneers just keep finding a way. Baker Mayfield is playing sensational. And imagine the contrast between being a Tampa Bay Buccaneers fan and an Arizona Cardinals fan right now. Like, the way the Buccaneers keep somehow pulling it out at the end, and the way the Cardinals keep somehow blowing it at the end, that is an unbelievable contrast right there.
Yeah, just looking at that Bucs game and the Seahawks game, first of all, the uniform matchup was brilliant.
Fire.
But what stood out to me about that game was it was two quarterbacks who are on their second or third team at this stage.
They were teammates in Carolina as well.
Yeah, exactly. And also have now what looks like have found their homes and gone out there and just putting on an absolute masterclass, like just dueling it out till literally the last second. And like Baker alone is going to make their wide receiver Mbuka, however you pronounce it.
Emeka Ibuka, who's the first and only rookie with at least 25 receptions of 5 receiving touchdowns in each of his first five career games. I mean,
5 weeks, 25 receptions, 445 yards, and 5 touchdowns in 5 weeks. He is on the fast track for Offensive Rookie of the Year with Baker Mayfield slinging that ball to him. And then, like, I know we love Baker, but like, I love to see Sam Darnold out there. Like, people are like, he's a system quarterback, Kevin O'Connell, blah blah blah. And like, yeah, Kevin O'Connell helped him. Kevin O'Connell took the broken product that the NFL destroyed, put them back together, flipped them for some great assets, sent them to Seattle, and now Seattle's like, wow, we don't ever want to hear the name Geno Smith again.
No.
We got rid of him.
And we'll get to Geno Smith in a minute as well.
We got rid of him. We've got our guy who can actually compete. And he went out there and put on a show. Like, that was probably the game of the week.
Yeah, I mean, the connection, Conor, between Ibuka and Mayfield is incredible right now. And to think that it's only really developed because of the injuries to Chris Godwin and Baker Mayfield basically needing a weapon. And a lot of people I know were kind of saying when they drafted Ibuka that they drafted him rather high. But I think it's looking like a genius move now by Todd Bowles and the Buccaneers front office.
Yeah, it's looking really, really good. I mean, he is odds-on favorite now for Rookie of the Year, for sure. Just, sometimes you fall in the right situation and everything just aligns for you. And yeah, Baker Mayfield is taking full advantage of having a very talented young player. And Ibuka is taking full advantage of having a quarterback who's on fire at the moment and being on a very strong team. It's all aligning so far.
It's a connection that's developed rather quickly. Similar enough, I suppose, to the connection between Sam Darnold and Jackson Smith-Njigba. I mean, that's another connection that's showing. Obviously, Smith-Njigba is not a rookie; he's in his second year now, but it's still it's like Twist said. It's great to see these quarterbacks going into a system and finding a home and finding success and being. Finding their place as a starting NFL quarterback, which they always have had the potential to do, but only now after getting the opportunity, like after you said, Twist, I mean, the NFL trying to basically destroy them.
Yeah.
So our love for Baker Mayfield and our love for Buccaneers will continue on this podcast for the entire season, as long as they continue winning in dramatic fashion. This will be henceforth known as the Baker Mayfield corner. We'll need a catchier name for that. So do send your suggestions in for this segment. Another topic or quarterback we do love to talk about here is the resurgent career of Daniel Jones with the Indianapolis Colts. I mean, the Colts are looking like a contender in the AFC right now. I know it was Las Vegas they beat up on, but scoring 40 points to 6. Jonathan Taylor 3 touchdowns. Danny Dimes keeps on balling, Twist. I mean, they really are on a roll right now.
You address him by his proper title as Indiana Jones.
I apologize, Indiana Jones. He's more from Danny Dimes to Indiana Jones.
Exactly. I mean, look at him. Look at him overall as a player. He's 5 weeks in. He only has 2 interceptions. He's 6 touchdowns. In New York, he was interception prone constantly. Those games where you have multiple interceptions. He is comfortable in the system. He's playing quite frequently mistake-free football. Even if you look back at those 2 interceptions, they may not be entirely his fault. But like, he's got a 67% completion percentage. He's out there, he's slinging it, he's playing smart football. It's what you love to see from a quarterback. And when you have a strong running back like Taylor in the backfield to take the pressure off him, you've got a team that the only way I can the comparison off the top of my head, because I'm a Steelers fan, is like the '08 Steelers, with Jerome Bettis and Willie Parker in the backfield. You got Roethlisberger who could sling it, like in Danny Jones, and you got a strong running back behind you to take the pressure off you. You've got basically a complete offense. And teams, well, yes, I mean, like they beat up on the Raiders and Geno Smith, but it's impressive. People it's Daniel Jones. Like, why are we getting Daniel Jones? And then you pull your starter because you're up 40. You put Anthony Richardson out there, and his first pass is an Anthony Richardson classic. Gets deflected by a lineman into the air. He catches his own pass and gets tackled. Like, classic Anthony Richardson. And they're already talking rumours about him being on the trade block as the trade deadline approaches.
Do you think they trade him to Cincinnati? Because I just read online there, NFL.com, that Cincinnati are exploring options at quarterback after the Jake Browning debacle last night. I mean, there's an interesting one. I mean, I know, Connor, you had floated out, Jameis Winston. But I mean, quite a similar cornerback in Anthony Richardson, and a lot younger as well.
The price,
Yeah,
before, I was going to say the price would probably be too high compared to Jameis Winston.
It's not. I don't think it's about the price per se, because I don't think anyone's overly hot on Anthony Richardson. But you're taking in Anthony Richardson, you're thinking maybe there's a future with him. Whereas Jameis Winston, this is just to patch over the
bridge.
Yeah, bridge at the moment for the 4 or 5 or 6 games, whatever it is now. Burrow's going to miss possibly a few more, and you're trying to get 3-4 wins and just stay alive. Whereas I don't think Anthony Richardson gives you that instant win now. I don't think Jamar Chase is going to react to, oh, we got Anthony Richardson, woo, right now. I don't think that. Whereas if he gets an established veteran who he knows the ball's coming, I think it's going to give them a boost. So I don't think necessarily Cincinnati's the move. I just want to point out the Colts are currently the number 1 seed in the AFC, which is
that's nuts.
It's amazing.
That's bananas.
It is bananas, but what's even more bananas is fine margins. In week 2, they beat the Denver Broncos, and they lost that game, but for the fact there was a penalty on the field goal at the end, and the Broncos got to retake the kick, and they hit it, and they won. Had the Broncos have won that game, and there was no penalty, and it was a dubious penalty, the Broncos are the number 1 seed in the AFC.
Yeah,
like we're living in upside down world right now.
It feels weird. It feels really. It's just the NFL. That's it.
Any given Sunday.
But I think it's 2 fan bases that definitely deserve, and 2 organizations that after years in the wilderness, obviously Denver had the Russell Wilson era, and we all kind of know that his career is finished now, and now they have Bo Nix, a bona fide star up there in the Rocky Mountains, and Indianapolis, who completely went through with several quarterbacks, and now they found their guy as well. So maybe it is time that the hierarchy of the AFC was shaken up a little bit, and we saw, obviously, the Chiefs have struggled without their star players. They are kind of getting back into winning ways now. The Buffalo Bills were beaten last night. I couldn't believe that when I woke up this morning and I saw the score on Sunday Night Football. 23-20, the New England Patriots over the Bills up there in Buffalo. I watched the highlights back. I mean, it was... The Bills did their best to lose that game so much, Connor, as the Patriots did their best to win it, I think.
I think it's just very hard to win 17 games in the NFL. And it's just so hard to stay consistent. And I think New England are actually sneakily good. So, and it's in division. It's one of those, it's a huge win for New England, man. That's big. And I thought Stephon Diggs, with all the drama that goes around Stephon Diggs, my goodness, is he still very good at football. Like, that was a sensational performance from Stephon Diggs, who this week in the media was quoted as saying, I have a 5 out of 10 understanding of the New England offense, to which Mike Vrabel then said, well, it sounds like he needs to study more. So it sounded like trouble in paradise in New England, but he understood that offense better than he made out. He was elite in that game, and he was pumped for sure. Kudos to New England, kudos to Vrabel, Diggs, Drake May, and the Patriot way, which is still going. And I wouldn't worry about Buffalo, but it's a little bit surprising. But kudos to New England, man.
And Ramondre Stevenson twist. He's been plagued by fumbles, and there were several fumbles in the opening sequence of that game, including one by him. But Vrabel did show some faith in him, gave him the ball, continued feeding him, and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, I mean, I think Vrabel went nuclear when they played the Steelers, where every time a player fumbled, they were basically gone for a whole quarter. And I got to the point where they were down to their 3rd string quarterback, running back against the Steelers, because they just kept fumbling. I think he, realized you can't just take a guy completely out of the game. Fumbles happen. That's football. You got to keep him on the field, because then if you call him back after benching him for a quarter, his confidence is shot. Just put him straight back out there, tell him to hold on.
He's their guy. He's a great running back.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, fumbles happen. You can't just sit him for it. But Stephon Diggs, 5 out of 10 offense understanding. Well, 5 out of 10 offense understanding results in 10 catches for nearly 150 yards against his former team. I'd hate to see what he's like when he knows 10 out of 10 of the Patriots offense. But Drake May, the Patriot way is coming back. Like most people, like they're looking good. A lot of people in the AFC are not going to like to hear the Patriots look like they're finally back up on the upswing post Tom Brady era, because we were all traumatized by Brady and the Patriots for so long. We don't want that PTSD coming back, but it does look like they're finally on the upswing and they could actually be a contender going forward, especially when you take down, at that point, the last undefeated team in the NFL.
The Patriot way, it's interesting that one former player who had great success in the Patriots, Gerard Mayo, came in as head coach and was given, I think was it just a season he got, and he was given the boot, and then another former player comes in, Mike Vrabel, and has great success. I mean, it's just, I don't know if it's circumstance, if it's just the vibe around the team, or I don't know, Conor, what your thoughts are on that, about how Vrabel has had this kind of success this season where Gerard Mayo couldn't really muster it.
I don't know the ins and outs of the organization or Mike Vrabel's coach. I know he's a player's coach, for sure, and I know he had a lot of success in Tennessee, and Tennessee don't look too hot right now, and Tennessee weren't too hot before Mike Vrabel, and so he did really good things down there. So he obviously knows how to get the best out of their players. And let's not beat around the bush here. The Patriots now have a second-year quarterback who's very good. Drake May is very good at football, and he's more established now into his second year. He's no longer a rookie, so that makes a big difference. But yeah, to go up to Buffalo and win in Buffalo, that's an unbelievable result, man. I say you can enjoy a win for 24 hours. Then I might give him 48 hours for that one. That was an incredible win.
Jimmy, I know you're practicing your hard questions for media on Sunday, but giving a Conor a question like that's a bit rough. Like,
just throwing it out there. He does bring
personally. Like, what's his tendencies? Like, come on.
I mean, look, Conor's been knocking it at the park with his analysis over the past couple of podcasts, so I just thought I'd try and
take him down a notch.
Get the best out of him. I mean, Vrabel has the same team that Mayo had, basically.
I know. I'm just ripping. I will say, before we move on any further, if another player in the NFL drops the ball before crossing the goal line and results in a touchback, that player needs to do laps. Needs to learn
20 press ups.
Yeah.
NFL owners need to restructure every single contract in the NFL right now, and they need to put a financial incentive in for a player who scores a touchdown to knock over the back pylon of the end zone with the football. You put that in, and you eradicate that issue, because that's 2 weeks in a row now, and it's cost games.
Yeah.
So you put that in, and I guarantee you every player is going to be running with the ball like this to the back end zone, knocking it out.
If you run out of the back of the end zone still holding the ball, you get an extra $1,000. Like,
that also works. Yeah. That also works. But something with the back line of the end zone, I just use the back pylon as an example.
Because as you said, 2 weeks in a row, 2 games completely changed because it's pure cockiness, pure showboating.
Who were the fumbles this week?
The Cardinals game.
The Cardinals blew it up, and that loss for the Cardinals, to me, when Chicago gave up that Hail Mary in Washington last year, I turned around and I said, Chicago aren't going to win another game this year. That is just a cataclysmic, and they only fell to 4-3. They were still positive at the time, and I said they're not going to win another game, and they won the last game of the season against Green Bay when they were already in the playoffs. They literally they lost 10 in a row, and that moment for me for Arizona feels like a cataclysmic loss where it's just going to go.
And they threw that game as well. I mean, the fact that they let Tennessee back in to overcome an 18-point deficit, I mean, it's just kind of...
Well, when your running back breaks off 70-plus yards and drops the ball before he crosses the end zone, you deserve to lose that game. You fumble it out the back of the end zone after a 70-plus yard run, and it was a great run. He just slowed down, started showboating, and flipped the ball at the last second. And the Tennessee defender following him, pointing at the ball all the way through, laughing, you fumbled it at the end zone, Oh, but hey, Tennessee came back and won the game, and
we seem to have lost Conor due to technical difficulties, but that's okay. Myself and Twist will carry on. We're going to look ahead now to Monday Night Football tonight, obviously between the Kansas City Chiefs and the Jacksonville Jaguars. Twist, I know you were kind of saying earlier that the Chiefs aren't back, but they are looking pretty good. I think they'll have a stiffer contest than a lot of people will expect against the Jaguars, considering the way that Trevor Lawrence and co have been playing down there. I mean, it's going to be a good one, right?
Oh yeah, I mean Lawrence has looked better than he's looked over the past couple of years. I don't know whether it's not having to play 3 games a year in London anymore, and it's taking the jet lag out of his system. The team is just clicking, but it's not going to be it's not going to be the walkover that Kansas City Chiefs fans are hoping for tonight. The Jags are going to give them a much tougher fight. I wouldn't be surprised if there's an upset, just because of the way the Jags are playing. But I will say, welcome back, Connor. Jags Chiefs tonight. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, sorry about that. I think someone hit the camera wire, cut me off for a moment. But yeah, Jags
You better Wi-Fi.
maybe. But I think this has a Chiefs win written all over it. Chiefs back
Okay.
to 3-2. Yeah, a couple of Buffalo went down, Baltimore go down in the AFC. Old favorite, Kansas City Chiefs. Here we come. Jacksonville are a good team as well, but if Jacksonville win, they go 4-1. The Chiefs go 2-3. Whereas if the Chiefs win, they go 3-2. Jacksonville go 3-2. This just has a Kansas City win written all over. Patrick Mahomes, final 2 minutes, get the job done. Trevor Lawrence plays well, but not well enough to win. Yeah, I like. I'm back on the Kansas City train now, so I take KC.
Once they get their other good players back, you're suddenly back on the Kansas City train. That's interesting.
Oh yeah, like
Travis Hunter. I'm liking Travis Hunter these days. I mean, he's coming out of the draft. Everyone was like, yeah, he won't be able to play receiver and DB in the pros, and he's doing it. I think he's actually played more snaps on defense than he has on offense so far this season. So he is living up to expectations and to the hype. I would like to see him more involved in the offense, though, to be honest with you.
Yeah, but you'd be worried about him trying to double duty in the pros, like wear and tear on the body.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he might be able to play both offense and defense, but it could be a really short career for him. So I think the Jags are trying to test him out where they need him most. And boys, right now it looks like he's probably needed most on defense. I wouldn't be surprised if he plays probably 90% of the snaps defense against the Chiefs.
It's going to be an interesting one anyway, for sure. I mean, these aren't the old Jaguars, as you were saying, Twist. They are going to put up a fight. They are looking good in the AFC. And just really quickly before we wrap things up, Thursday night football coming down the line as well. Another interesting one between the Giants and Eagles. Two teams who will be obviously playing on a short week after playing a Sunday afternoon as well. Two teams out for revenge, or out to avenge their losses. The Eagles looking to wipe out that shock loss to the Broncos, or maybe not so shocking if you are a Broncos fan. And then the Giants looking to overcome the disaster that they had. I forget who they were playing now.
New Orleans.
The Saints. Of course, New Orleans Saints. Jackson Dart, after a really promising start to his campaign, 3 interceptions, I think, Connor, if I'm not mistaken, and given Spencer Rattler his first win of the season. So 2 franchises that will be looking to basically get back on track, really.
Dart got a bit unlucky because they were trailing 19-14 in the fourth quarter, and his running back fumbled, and they returned it 80 yards for a touchdown. So I felt a little bit for Jackson Dart, and that's kind of like your welcome to the NFL moment. Sometimes it's out of your control. I have an interesting wrinkle here, and I don't have the answer. I would love to know if anyone in the world has the answer to this. When was the last time Thursday Night Football featured 2 teams that were both coming off 10-point plus blown leads?
I do not have the answer.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say it's maybe never ever happened. I don't know. But the fact that both Philadelphia and New York were both up big last weekend and they both blew it, I think just adds a little interesting wrinkle to this. And for Philadelphia, if they lose this one, you start asking the question, is this the Eagles of a couple of years ago that were 10-0, 12-0, and then just fell off a cliff? So for the Giants, they need to, if they want to be in this season, they need to keep winning games. So okay, it's Philadelphia, it's a tough one, but they need to win it because everyone in the NFC East is very good.
Yeah,
There was one point during the Giants game yesterday where Jackson Dart threw an interception, and I think he might have. I think he floated the ball up, and the Saints picked it off, and he was coming off to the sideline, and Dayball kind of shrugged his shoulders and almost laughed as if to say, "Oh well." And I'm kind of like, that's not a great attitude to have. I mean, obviously it's better than ripping into your rookie quarterback, but at the same time, you want to show a little bit more fight and maybe some more kind of get some fire into your rookie quarterback, especially when you're going to take on the reigning Super Bowl champions.
I'll comment on that because the situation is important to that. It's 4th and 9. So, and I didn't see the all 22 whether there was a guy open or not, or what I would have saw the broadcast. But he was running for his life and he chucked it up and gave a guy a chance. So, and as a quarterback, you say that not all the interceptions should be statted differently. It shouldn't just be one broad thing for interceptions. A fourth down interception, that's an arm punt. The dude should have slapped it down. He cost New Orleans 25 yards of field position. So if he had his head screwed on, he would have just slapped it down. So I think that's probably what Brian Daboll meant by that, as if to say, well, all right, it's better than just running out of bounds or like running for 3 yards and then it's turnover on downs anyway. It's a bit like when Russell Wilson chucked that ball out the back of the end zone on 4th down the other day. That lost him his job. And
lost it's like, well,
job, yeah. You'd have preferred him just to throw an interception, right? It wouldn't look good for his stats, but at least he gave a guy a chance. Yeah. So I that's where I think it comes from Daboll. But I not being there, obviously I can't comment with 100% certainty, but that's what I think happened.
But yeah, like the Eagles on Thursday night this coming week, it's the Eagles, right? Yeah. They can't lose to the Giants.
Well, the concern right now is Jackson Dart is on the injury report for a short list hamstring. Possibly he's currently limited in practice. So you'll have to look and see if he's going to go on a short week. If he is going to go, I think it's the Giants and the Eagles. They hate each other. Like, it's one of those rivalry games where the cities hate each other, the players hate each other, they want to murder each other on the field. So if the Giants can get into any type of rhythm, if Jackson Dart's on the field, you are going to see the absolute maniac that is Cam Skittable on the field, blowing people up left, right, and center, because that guy's out there to shorten his career and hurt people in the process. He is an old school.
Did you see him screaming for new gloves on Sunday afternoon when he had the fumble? There's a screenshot of him just absolutely roaring for new gloves. It's hilarious.
The way I can describe him is he's a 70s fullback.
Yeah.
He does not care about his health or safety. He just wants to hurt the other guy on the other side of the field. Doesn't care if he gets the ball. Doesn't care if he gets a pass. He just wants to go out there and hurt somebody for 4 quarters.
That's what made him so successful in college, though. I mean, they had I think it was the Minnesota Gophers he played for.
No, it was
Arizona State.
Arizona State.
Yeah.
Well, having a guy with that intensity on your side of the field in a rivalry game, if Jackson Dart's going to go, I give it to the Giants.
If I'm an NFL GM, every single draft I draft an absolute beast of a running back, and even if he only lasts 2 or 3 years, he doesn't make it to his second contract, I don't care. I want a guy who's just going to be absolutely physical and violent, and the other team just doesn't want to tackle him. It's just such an asset, especially just to rotate in. Just a side note on this game: if Dart can't go and Russell Wilson comes in, throws for 400 yards, and the Giants win, is he the guy again?
No, definitely not.
No, I don't think they're going to, because that's. I mean, you can speak more of it from being a quarterback yourself, but if you pull Jackson Dart because he was injured, that's, in my opinion, it's going to do damage to his confidence and his ability. Does the team believe me? Does the team trust me? I got hurt once. Am I going to, if he does get back on the field as a starter, is he going to play too conservative then? Because in his mind is, if I get hurt again, am I going to lose my position to another guy again? So I don't think they give it to Russell Wilson, even if he blows up the Eagles.
The Giants and the Browns are in a very similar situation because they both have made the decision to bench their proven rookie veteran quarterbacks for their rookies, their future starting quarterbacks. Obviously, Dylan Gabriel in Cleveland and Jackson Dart in New York. So if it's like Twist says, if they want to avoid doing irreparable damage to those quarterbacks' confidence, and you look back at Sam Darnold and Baker Mayfield and what happened to them in Cleveland and in New York, respectively, with the Jets. I mean, and how long it's taken them to get back to fulfill their potential as starting NFL quarterbacks. That's just, you have to learn from your mistakes. The league has to learn from its mistakes and avoid doing that, basically. Lads, look, I think we're going to leave it there. Obviously, just a crazy, crazy week. I mean, I feel like every week we come on here and we say what a crazy week it's been, and I think that's not going to stop anytime soon. It's just been absolutely bananas. Thank you both for coming on, lads. Always a pleasure to chat ball. It's like myself and Conor said last week, it's just three lads chatting football. That's what we love doing. Thank you to all our listeners and all our viewers, wherever you are in the world, wherever you're tuning in from. Thank you again to our sponsors, Print My Pint. Make sure you check them out, printmypint.ie. And lads, I will see you next Monday. Take it easy.